Good morning, everyone. I'm going to discuss to you the inverse of a one-to-one functions. Okay, we have here the definition of the inverse of a one-to-one function. It states that let f be a one-to-one function with domain A and range B. So say for example, we have f of x. So based from the definition, let's say A or set A is the domain. Domain is all possible values of x, and range or all possible values of y is set B. Then the inverse of f denoted by this symbol. So f of x, when we get the inverse of the given function, we write this symbol, but we read this as inverse of f of x. Is a function with domain B and range A defined by the inverse of f of y is equal to x if and only if f of x is equal to y for any y in B. So meaning the inverse of the given in the inverse of the given function, your domain will now become the range, and the range will now become the domain of the inverse. So parang na-interchange lang. In f of x, all possible values of x will now become all possible values of y in its inverse. Likewise, in f of x, all possible values of y will now become all possible values of x in its inverse. Now, what do we mean by this notation? So, say for example, in f of x, we have the ordered pair 2, 4. Sabi dito, in this notation, the inverse of f of y is equal to x. Meaning, when you choose any value of y in the set of ordered pair from the original function, say for example 4, when we substituted it to its inverse, say for example, ganyan, dapat equal siya sa corresponding value of x. Any value of y, pag sinubstitute natin sa inverse, dapat equal siya sa corresponding value of x. Okay, a function has an inverse if and only if it is 1 to 1. Now, given the equation, magiging 1 to 1 siya pag ang degree or the highest exponent is an odd number. So meaning, pag even number ang exponent or the degree, hindi na siya 1 to 1 function. And magiging 1 to 1 din ang given equation pag walang absolute value. So those are mga equation, possible equation na 1 to 1. Dapat ang degree is odd and dapat hindi naka-absolute value. Inverting the x and y values of a function results in a function if and only if the original function is 1 to 1. So given the set of ordered pair, say for example, we have here 2, 4, 3, 5, 6, 1. Now, how are we going if this is a set of ordered pair of a 1 to 1 function? Dapat, one value of x corresponds to one value of y. So, dapat walang mauulit na x at the same time, walang mauulit na y. Then, the given set of ordered pair is a function. Okay, we have here the steps in finding the inverse of a one-to-one function. So we have 3 steps. Number 1, write the function in the form y is equal to f of x. So for example, find the inverse of f of x equals 3x plus 1. So for step 1, so you are just going to rewrite this in the form y is equal to f of x. So you will just change f of x by y. So this will become y is equal to 3x plus 1. That is for step 1. For step 2, you are going to interchange the x and the y variables. In other words, all y will become x and all x will become y. So your y here will become x, your x here will become y. So x is equal to 3y plus 1. That is for step 2. Now for step 3, solve for y in terms of x. So balik tayo sa step 2. So that is x equals 3y plus 1. When we say solve for y, dapat y na lang matitira sa isang side. So in this case, dapat ma-eliminate natin itong plus 1 and 3 sa katabi ng y. So we can use SPE minus 1 minus 1. So x minus 1 equals 3y. So na-eliminate yung 1. Now, how we're going to eliminate 3? We can use DPE. So, we can divide both sides by 3. So, magiging 1, y equals x minus 1 over 3. So, ito na yung inverse, y equals x minus 1 over 3. To write the inverse of the function, you will just change y by the symbol or the notation of the inverse. So, inverse of f of x equals x minus 1 over 3. So, this is now the final answer. This is the inverse of 3x plus 1. Okay, another example. Find the inverse of f of x equals the cube of the sum of x and 3. So, for step 1, you are just going to change this f of x into y. So, y is equal to x plus 3 raised to the third power, or the cube of x plus 3. Step 2 is you will interchange x and y. So this will become x and your x here will become y. Step 3 is you're going to solve for y. So we have to eliminate this exponent 3 in this plus 3. So you have to eliminate first this exponent by getting the cube root of both sides. 3. So kung ano ang exponent dito, yun din dapat yung index nitong radical sign. So we can now cancel itong radical sign and yung exponent na 3. So, ang matitira is the cube root of x equals y plus 3. And we have to eliminate itong plus 3 by subtracting both sides by 3. So, the cube root of x, hindi kasama sa radical sign, yung minus 3 equals y. So, we can write this as y equals the cube root of x minus 3. So the final answer, the inverse, is the inverse of f of